Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Town of Cedar Lake Utility Board public meeting for July 21st, 2026 to order at 6:50. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, I do. Can I get a roll call, please?
Robert Carnahan?
Here.
Julie Rivera?
Here.
Nicholas Recupido?
Here.
Chuck Becker?
Here.
Greg Parker?
Here.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Here.
Richard King?
Here.
I am present. Tim Kubiak?
Here.
David Austin?
Present.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to consent agenda item 1, minutes from the June 16th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
Motion to approve?
Yes.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Becker. Any questions?
Once they're approved, I have a question.
You want a question after, or you want to have the discussion right now?
Well, it's in the minutes about, for West Side Sewer, Phase 2, we were gonna submit, testing and letter to IDEM, Indiana Department of Environmental Management, and you had to sign that. I was just going to ask if that was signed and sent.
It was.
Okay.
All right, if no other discussion, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupido?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Here.
Richard
Thanks.
Close enough.
Yeah, I'll say it's yes, right?
Yeah.
All right, motion carries 7-0. And Bob, just to follow up, that Monica sent me the email that Neil had it sent to her. She had it ready. I came down, signed it, and then she sent it off. I'm drawing a blank. A couple days. Thursday?
Yeah,
Okay.
So everything's good to go?
yeah, we have permit signed, we will be submitting that, early August, and we'll expect to have it back by the end of the month.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, move on to new business. Item number 1, contractor pay request number 6 in the amount of $450,559 for Gatton Plumbing and Heating for Westside Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Project 2.
Only question, Neil, you're recommending this payment?
Yes,
Okay.
routine pay request number 6.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Recupido. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupido?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Richard King?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Move on to reports. Written report A, fund report, clerk treasurer.
Cash and expenditure reports were previously sent out to you all.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion on that? All right, move on to item 2, consultants and staff report. A, engineering, sanitary report, Neese. Neil.
Thank you, Mr. President. Project 2, that is, pay request was approved previously. They are, completing up the construction and moving towards testing and restoration. And as we all know, on restoration on any public works project, that'll probably be a couple months, but we do have, performance bond and labor material payment bond from the contractor, to cover all of that work should, they not perform to our expectations. But they're moving forward, and then we will get the as-built, the record drawings for the project, and then have those on file on the FTP site and submit a copy to Tim and Tony for their records as well.
Okay.
Project 3, as mentioned just a little bit ago, we got the IDEM permit signed by Rich just last week, Thursday, and we will be submitting that to IDEM 1st of August, and we expect that to be approved by the end of the month with any notices or questions they may have on that. And then we would look for approval to bid that project, similar to Project 2, looking into the winter and then beginning construction as soon as ground breaks in spring.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you very much.
We got the water update, Seabell. Kevin Baldwin will not be online today. He did call me to give me an update. Still working on finishing up the application, for the SRF for the, new well site. So he really didn't have any other update to be online today.
The site, could you just kind of describe for the public, because I'm getting people that are saying they don't know where this is being, built and stuff like that, and,
So it's a roughly 3.27 acre parcel, just to the south of where the current water tower is over by the school. And so the plans that Kevin is working on after the discussion with him and the water department and the girls from the SRF was there's gonna be 2, wells put on that parcel with a treatment facility. But now we're just going through the whole engineering phase and, you know, he's working on that, which it takes a little bit of time. Once Kevin gets it finished up, he is then going to, submit it to myself and the water department and, Tim Kubiak, for review, before it does get sent off to the SRF. Notes I had from that meeting that we had from the SRF, usually after everything's done, it's gonna be at least a 60 to 90 day approval, so all that kind of review stuff takes work, environmental, everything else that goes along with it.
right, and this doesn't have anything to do with it, but I pulled out the prints for Blue Sky, subdivision that they've submitted to us, and there is a potential water tower placed on those prints.
Yeah, and they're still, kicking around if that, it would be there or in a different location.
Okay.
Yeah, there is definitely gonna be more storage needed down the road, but right now we need more wells, you know, more water in the tower.
So the water is what we need, the storage is not as desperate as getting the water.
Right.
Thank you.
And we are definitely a lot closer with those 2 wells.
All right, I just wanted that for some of the people that have been questioning me.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, moving
It's all
on.
in context of the water master plan, Bob.
Yeah. Okay, move on to Director of Operations, Superintendent Tim.
I was talking to you guys about some, sewer relining in the Shades project there from Fernwood to, Edison. We did get a quote back, we were trying to get a second quote. The mob cost, it was like $52,000 of work, but it was like $10,000 to mob, to get them here to do the work, so we're evaluating the rest of that Shades cammering and making sure that we get everything done in that area that we can, so kind of delaying it a bit, but we figured that if we're gonna pay them that much money to come out, we wanna make sure that we, you know, make that project big enough to make it make sense, I guess, so we are cammering all that stuff and making sure, you know, they did find a little more area that had some cracks in it and had some water leaking in, so working on that, and then we're still working on getting a generator quote for lift station 2 over there by the Shoe Value, so that's really all I have for today.
Can I interrupt, Mr. President?
Yes.
Cliff, if you're listening, I got a text message from a resident that said they're getting a lot of feedback, from YouTube. So I don't know if there's something you could fine tune on your end?
I'm hearing it through my mic too.
Not from where I'm at.
I'm sorry?
There might be a microphone pointed up, or I know that we have lapel mics for the attorney. They may not be being used or something.
Okay. Thank you, Cliff.
Right, any other questions for Tim? All right, thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Moving on to item C, Town Attorney.
No reports.
All right, we don't have any update discussion. Item 4, JMOB report, we still don't have anything scheduled. We are, Attorney Austin, can we say that we are trying to schedule a meeting with the town?
The answer is yes.
I'm sorry.
The answer is yes.
Okay. So yeah, so Nick and myself, Nick is, town council president, myself is, vice president. We did receive, an email from, Lowell's attorney as far as, having their president and vice meeting with us to, at least try to have some kind of a communication line other than just going back and forth through emails with the current litigation going on.
And, also, Wessler Engineering, there was a gentleman there that you were trying to communicate, and then you discovered he hasn't been there for a year.
That was about a year, was it, Neil, when you?
Yeah, a little over.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, so that was a little disturbing. Yeah,
So
They have
there's
contacts
another
with them.
communication problem.
yeah.
Okay, just wanna make sure.
All right, any other discussion before we get to public comment? All right, we'll move to public comment for utility board. Second call?
Okay, Barbara Orsi, 10290 West 138th Place. I actually have a question. I'm not an engineer, and I know this probably sounds like a stupid question, but it has to do with the well that's in process on the property that the town just purchased. So the well that we're looking to put together provides more water that gets treated and stored in the tower and ends up ultimately coming out of my faucet, correct?
Yes.
So I can drink it. I mean, I don't know what it tastes like, but
Yes.
I have a filter, but so it's drinking water for the
Yes,
community.
absolutely.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
And I just want to tell a little story. I know people that live in Cherville, and they were, had a fire engine hooked up to a water line, pulling water out, and the people that lived adjacent to that told me that their toilets were gurgling and they couldn't get water out, so it's not just Cedar Lake.
True.
All right, we'll go third call for public comment for utility board. Anybody online?
No hands raised.
All right, public portion of this meeting is closed. Do we have any other discussion? We're gonna have a recess, or?
Yeah, maybe 5
We're gonna
minutes.
take a 5-minute recess before, council meeting. This meeting is adjourned at 7:02 PM.
Everyone can take a seat, please. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Town Council meeting for July 21st, 2026. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for an opening prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father.
Father Patrick from Holy Name Parish here in Cedar Lake, 1100 West 133rd Avenue.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Most high and glorious God, bless the work and discussion of this council of the town of Cedar Lake. Grant insight, clarity, and understanding to navigate complex issues, to resolve conflicts, and to implement effective policies with discernment and justice. Bless those who have gathered, residents, leaders, and guests alike, and remind us that our shared purpose is greater than any single interest. Help us to listen with open minds, to speak with respect, and to act with courage for the good of all. As our country celebrates its 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, may the values of our ancestors be realized anew each day. Grant peace to our world and safety to all our members of the armed forces. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Father.
You're welcome.
Good evening. This meeting is called to order at 7:12 p.m. Roll call, please, Ms. Amber.
Robert Carnahan.
Here.
Julie Rivera. Here. Nicholas Rapido.
Here.
Chuck Becker.
Here.
Greg Parker.
Here.
Mary Jo Dixon.
Here.
Richard Kim.
Here.
I am present. John Grushka.
Here.
Tim Kubiak.
Here.
Nick Mager.
Here.
David Austin.
Present.
Greg Weitzman.
Here. Thank you. First order of business is a very important order of business. Presentation from Mr. Logan Geiger. Who would like to take the floor to introduce what this gentleman accomplished? Chief or?
Sure, I'll
Or
ask
is there
Corporal Londe to come up as well here.
Okay.
I'll do most of the talking. I'm Corporal Londe, the SRO for Hanover High School. Chief and I were talking one day when I started over there. We were talking about some way of really becoming part of the school corporation, something big for the community. So I spoke with Adam Forrester, who was the graphic arts designer at the school, and told him, let's hold a contest with all your graphic arts kids and have them design an SRO truck, something neat, and something that they can be a part of and say, hey, I designed that one day. So we held a competition. It was 30, 35 kids. Once it was all designed, then we all kind of voted, got a top 5, and then we went down to number 1, which turned out to be Logan's. Now, during the process, he kind of tweaked it for us with different ideas and that, but in the end, our Board of Safety approved it, and then we immediately got it done within days after that. Is actually sitting right outside that door. But he did a phenomenal job. When I was driving home from Valpo where we got it done, people were honking their horns at me. I would pull up to a light and they'd honk their horn. I roll it down, they're like, that's the coolest police truck I've ever seen in my life. I'm going through neighborhoods being on the road in the summer, kids are stopping and waving at me, and I'm stopping, and they want to take pictures of it. You know, can my mom come out and take a picture of it? So, I mean, I've got nothing but thumbs up from everybody. I get people honking the horn at me all the time. So it's awesome. It's great.
That's what you guys were looking for, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be just a picture that we were gonna hang and present in the police department. Then it started evolving into, you know what, we could really do this.
Yeah.
And then
The PTO started volunteering money, and we're holding their hat contests at some of the, elementary schools where they pay $1 to wear their hat for the day, and that was being donated to the SRO truck. So before it was, before it was a full concept, we already had the money for everything.
Oh.
And then with, do you wanna talk about how we got it actually paid for?
I don't think we need to go there.
Okay, so.
But we got it paid.
We got it paid for, no cost to the town, no cost to the PTO, so, basically free, so, but Logan did a phenomenal job.
You know what, Logan, why don't you come on up here instead of letting us do the talking? This is the guy who put it together.
My name's Logan Geiger.
Happy, huh?
But yeah, I designed the car. It was an assignment that I had for class, actually. It was a contest. I was grateful for the opportunity because it was different. I was grateful to my teacher because for the 2 years prior when I had the class, it was kind of the same things. Wasn't really like different ideas and concepts, and then he brought this to our attention. And yeah, I was really grateful for the opportunity and to tweak some things to make it the way we wanted, and I wasn't expecting to actually win it. So, because there were a lot of great people in that class, but yeah, I mean, I was grateful for the opportunity. I'm glad it turned out good. So, yeah.
We are too. I didn't see the other submissions, but I think they had a tough time beating yours, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job. We've got a certificate of recognition for you, and something you can bring home, put on the wall. So if you want to take some photos, also you've got the vehicle outside, right? So we can take a few minutes, and anyone that wants to go look at it can check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get you this presented to you, Logan.
Are we all gonna go down there?
If you'd like to, Bob.
Yeah, why don't we all go down there?
We can all Thank you.
Are you doing them first, or are you doing?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, me? Okay.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know, Nick, do you wanna be in the side door?
Yeah, you there Saturday, we'll be right back.
Okay. Next up, we have public comment on agenda items only. Public comment on agenda items only.
Some days harder than others.
Hi, good
Hi,
evening.
good evening.
Rob Hen, 13455 Parish Avenue. I want to talk to you guys a little bit tonight, or talk about this. I noticed on the packet that there is and on the agenda, there is a talk of amending ordinance number 462, which is the Town Responsible Contractor Regulations, a mandatory ordinance. It says in the packet that you want to raise the limit to $15,000 before a building permit is required. I think there's some pitfalls there that might need to be talked about. Most of the communities around us have a low threshold for a permit. Most of them, I think some of them are 500, some are just a couple thousand. I know some of the farm communities out down south might not have them, but that's a whole different scenario than the town we have here. A small farming community doesn't have much building going on. We have a lot of it. We have a lot of new construction, we have a lot of commercial, we have a lot of industrial, we have a lot of rehabs. So there's some concern there that that threshold is way too high. Permits and contractor licensing there's a purpose for those. I mean, everyone likes to complain about the fees, but the actual purpose of the permits and the licensing is very important. Obviously for public safety, to ensure competence of whoever's doing the work. Also to ensure that there's some liability and some insurance coverage by whoever's doing the work. So it's a very important thing. And if a permit threshold is raised to $15,000, you also open it up to where you could have unscrupulous contractors fly into town, start doing some work, because everything's going to be under $15,000. And that makes it pretty difficult, especially on a guy like me who has a company here in town and maintains licenses, in many communities, maintains many types of insurance, liability, builder's risk, all kinds of comprehensive insurance, automobile, vehicle insurance, and all that. We also do continuing education for our employees so that they're up to date on the new codes and what has to be done. And if you start having people whipping into town, or even people in town doing $15,000 worth of work, that all falls away because there's nobody to check it. I mean, and $15,000, again, I say is a large amount of money, because for $15,000, a guy could change his electric service, and that would not need a permit. A guy could do electric, plumbing, structural work in a home under $15,000, and that would never be inspected or looked at.
I think you've misunderstood the whole spirit of that entire...
Well, maybe I have.
I'm positive that you have.
Okay.
I'm going to let Mr. Recupero explain it, because he can very clearly explain what we're trying to do.
Okay.
And it's not what you're saying.
Well, okay, like I said, I read the packet and I read the agenda, and that's the first time I heard about rumblings of it before, but that's the first time I heard about it today.
Yeah.
So I was like, something isn't right here.
Well, we can get into it during the presentation of the ordinance, being that this is just the comment section. If you want to do that, we can allow people to comment, and then I can elaborate on what we're doing when we read the ordinance.
I don't want to diminish his right to speak, but the things that he's saying is absolutely not what is being considered in this revision.
Well, that's good, right?
Or the spirit of the revision.
Okay.
So it's not going to affect you much at all.
Well, no, I don't even affect me as a businessman, but affect me as a resident. I mean, like I said, $15,000, a guy could put up a fence, without a permit.
It's simply not what you're saying.
Okay, well, then I'm going to stick around. I'd like to hear what it is, and if I'd like to have an opportunity to speak.
It'll be, so this is a two-reading ordinance, Josh? Yeah, so even if it passes the first reading tonight, there still would be a second reading too, and another chance to speak as well.
Well, good deal. I did not know that, Nick.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's all good. Yeah, but I'll have plenty to say and hopefully address the concerns that you brought to our attention tonight.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Terry Broders, 631 North State, representing my property here in Cedar Lake at 14513 Morris, and of course hoping to build one day. I'm hearing about this, it's kind of new to me too, and it caught me off guard, being that it took, Cedar Lake set these rules forth to try to change the dynamic of the future of the town. And I know I don't know the essence of it either. I'm sure you're gonna explain it much better than what we've got. But there's a couple of things I would like to get on the record also, and of course, you can imagine why. As a great builder, I could buy $15,000 worth of lumber and build just about anything, as long as labor's not included in that, right? But I think we're really missing the point of what the permits are for. Not so much the money as much as it is the policing of the jobs. When you talk about, if you're talking about doing a backsplash and changing out some cabinets in your kitchen, I certainly understand there's no structural, the sink's in the same spot, not changing any electric, that's cosmetic work. I can understand that. But as Mr. Henn brought up, when you start talking about the infrastructure, the slightest wrong pitch in a waste pipe really creates problems down the road for any family that either buys that house from a flipper or buys it from a resident that did the work himself. So it was always, as a builder, it's always been my impression of permitting was based on the type of work, not so much the money. And in fact, a lot of places would base the cost on the value of a job, looking at the scope of the work you want to try to do, whether it's a new home or an addition to, or maybe just a garage, or like you said, a fence. I understand adjusting pricing on permits, but I just hope we're not talking about eliminating the structure that's been put in place to maintain the quality of work that gets done.
It absolutely has nothing to do with any of that.
And again, Mr. Parker, I don't know the ins and outs of what you guys have put together, but I do want you to consider that if it's a few people in a committee that are talking about making such big changes to something I think is so crucial to protecting the future of our town and where we go from here, I'm hoping that we will have some greater discussion as from both the public and with the board included, because I think it took a lot to get to where we're at. I was here 5 years ago, and when I got here, I heard the stories of what was and what is now. And I hate to think that we would go back to what I heard was. And I hope that everybody on this board agrees. And Mr. Parker, I'm looking forward to hearing the details. And I hope we're
so blown out of proportion, it's ridiculous.
And I don't know the details, so I just want to make sure I got on record of how important I think it is that we do have the structure of them, the policing of projects. And of course, that could always fall back down to public safety, liability, and things like that. So I would imagine there's a lot more dialogue that needs to be had.
Yes,
but
sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else here for public comment on agenda items only?
Hello, my name is Cheryl Reeves, 12014 McCook Street in Cedar Lake. My comment is basically just to put into record some concerns I have regarding the bid property at 127th Lane, in which I did submit a bid. And because this is the second time for this bid, and the first one was vacated due to improper paperwork or things that were incomplete, I wanted to have my statement here just to make sure that things are on record regarding this bid property. So apologize for having to read it, but wanted to make sure I get every detail here. This request is for an update on a previous town council item for inspection of a currently installed privacy fence to determine if the fence was installed in accordance with town codes and that the fence isn't impeding property lines or easements. Town council held discussion of public comment regarding an email from me, Cheryl Reeves, which was emailed to Council Member Parker for an entire council review of a known fence installation. The fence installation in question is on property occupied by Mitch Glines and is attached to the bid property for town disposal known as 127th Lane. This request was made prior to the date bids would be received. Town council discussion noted that a follow-up inspection of the fence installation will be done to determine if it was properly installed and at the proper location. The most recent town council meeting failed to have any update on the agenda of this prior request. The previous request to inspect the fence line was for three main reasons. One, because it extends laterally and horizontally beyond the adjacent property owner's historical fence lines. Two, because it directly affects the 127th Lane bid disposal property if it is impeding the property lines noted in the bid paperwork available to bidders. And three, because town council members were made aware with photos and communications that a property survey stake marker had been dug up during the original vacated bid and remained at the final decision to tear down the unsafe building located on the bid property. The disposal of the 127th Lane town property has taken 3 years and 2 bid sessions of asking the town to follow the same property rules they demand privately owned land and homeowners to follow. Many neighborhood residents are thankful that the town finally ejected the noisy, unauthorized, private vehicle repair business occupant who had been operating out of the unsafe building on the 127th Lane bid property prior to my initial unresolved complaints dating as far back as 2019. They celebrated as the town then accepted their responsibility and tore down the unsafe building in preparation for a new bid. As one of the property owners directly involved with the chaos that used to be an acre of backyard racetracks, racing engines, unauthorized gunfire, and more, and as someone who has repeatedly bid on this property and brought the unfinished town business and responsibilities to the attention of the town council offices and members, I again ask that you determine if the fence installation has been installed without impeding the lines noted in the bid paperwork or outside the legal description of the permit given for this fence line. I am using my hard-earned retirement funds to help make this neighborhood a peaceful place to raise families and enjoy what little nature remains in our development explosion. Please address this issue to help myself, adjacent property owners, and the community feel confident that the town has their best interests in mind when they make decisions, that their decisions will, whether related to permits, construction, or other, are executed properly and from start to finish. Now, I've heard conversation that this fence line has been looked at, but again, there is no documentation that this has been presented and it is appropriate for this fence line and that whether it impedes or not. So because the last bid was vacated because of improper paperwork and information related to that bid, I wanted to make aware that as a bidder on this property, that there are still outstanding issues that I want to make sure the town brings to light and follows up on.
I apologize for not following up. I missed the last town council meeting because I was sick. But I did have some discussion with Tim about that, but I haven't had any follow-up discussion with him. So, I mean, if you got anything to update us on this situation.
I was out there. I know the discussion about according to what I see out there, the fence is on the property line. It's in question. I mean, the neighboring fence is 4 foot in from the property line. I have a picture here from the near maps and the GIS, which shows the alteration in the fence. Looking down, I mean, looking at this from my aspect as an inspector, I seen a stake on what would be the northwest corner of the property. I seen the survey stake with the lat there with the ribbon on it. I did not, I mean, it was weeds and stuff back there. I didn't see a stake on the east side, northeast corner.
The marker that was dug up was in between Grimes and Pepler.
That's what I thought. And I didn't, I mean, there's weeds and whatever back there. But looking down the fence lines, if you look at the near maps picture, I'll give this to you if you'd like it, but you can see the 2 foot easement. His fence looks to be on the south side of the 2 foot easement, and then there's the 2 foot spike strip, and then the property. So by everything I can tell, and looking at all the neighboring properties, sighting down the line according to the near maps, everybody else's fences are held to the south 4 feet from that line. So without being a actual land surveyor, I feel that the fence is in the proper place. There was a couple panels where there was some broken screws, and you know, if I went to inspect it, I would have made them screws be repaired and a couple pickets been put back on the fence because they were ready. Somebody ran into it with something or something or other. But its permit expires August 19th or something, or 18th, or somewhere in that area. So there hasn't been an actual final inspection done on the fence as of yet, but it's coming up obviously soon. But that's kind of, without being, you know, and we as building inspectors are not surveyors, all we could do is look at, you know, but I looked on both the GIS and the near maps and got a pretty good view of what it looks like, and you can see in this picture, but it shows that those other 2 fences are definitely 4 feet to the south of the actual line of the 2 foot spike strip. So in my opinion, the fence is pretty darn close to right on where it's supposed to be.
So there'll be a report on that, right? Or is this to consider the report?
I mean, if you want one, I can do one, but I kind of just, I mean, I gave these guys just a quick, that, you know, it seems to me that it is on the line.
Yeah, because we also weren't sure, because we know you were out on the property because you own what we call the cabin on the opposite side of Pepler. and that's the extremely wooded area there. The rest of the acreage is behind Pepler and Glines. That's a clear spot that you can walk around. Our area is the ravine,
all the way to
ravine
the
and
east.
woods. So I know when you were out there with my husband was there, it was too wooded to be out there and find anything.
No,
So
and
this-
all I just recently looked at was behind the Glines fence. That was it.
Okay.
I didn't go anywhere else. I just was looking for that. I didn't make it all the way to that property marker, but I found the one on the corner, and I actually had 2 ticks on my arm when I was out there for 5 minutes.
Heavily
I was
wooded.
like, but I did go down to the corner. I sighted down everywhere, and everything is in line, and everything matches what I see where the lines are on the near maps, and I felt pretty comfortable where it is.
So your review is not of the survey markers that are in the ground, it's just a visual?
Yes, and
visual.
I mean, I did verify that one survey marker in the ground and the visual, so that I felt that I had pretty good, I felt I had enough to at least go by what because we're not surveyors, we just look at the proposal where they're putting the fence, we make them turn in a survey where they're gonna put the fence, and then you just, look at it in reference, and obviously, the other 2 fences are definitely to the south of the property line, but when you look on this, you can see that they are, and that was what that's what I had to work with, so I felt pretty comfortable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
My daughter used to ride a plastic sled down there in the ravine.
Can you take this, you want?
Anyone else for public comment on agenda items only?
You see right here.
Anybody online, Ms. Amber?
No hands raised.
Okay. Public comment on agenda items only is now closed.
Here's their.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Number 1, approval of minutes, April 7th, 2026.
But it looks.
2 claims, all town funds, $109,582.04. Wastewater operating, $45,764.89. Water utility, $24,146.08. Stormwater, $9,647.51. Payroll July 16, 2026, $295,730.61. June remittances, $236,619.45. 3 donations, in-kind donation of a computer, 1 at the Cybersecurity Summit from Cliff Rowe. Thank you for that, Cliff. And number 5, manual journal entries, June 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Ms. Dixon to approve the consent agenda. Discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I just have some questions on the cash on your journal and that. And they're big numbers. I just want what this money is. I have an idea what it is, but like the park impact fees, it looks like we've got a balance of $1,409,041.29. So that's a huge amount. And Greg, I know that Storm Board is asking for a partnership on putting storm drainage in Potawatomi Park. Dave, is that something that we can use to improve a park?
Probably.
Probably, okay. And then I see for local road and streets, we've got $1,432.47. So that is a huge amount. Is some of that earmarked for something?
Well, you have appropriations that haven't all been spent down this year, but that's also a little bit of cash reserve in that specific fund. We don't spend 100% of our collections every year, and I'm glad we haven't, since, as we've seen over the last few months, the state has, put a moratorium on the gas tax, and that affects our distributions that we receive for motor vehicle, highway, and local road and streets. Last month, our distributions were approximately 50,000, and this month, our distribution was a little over 29,000. So it's good to have a cash reserve.
All right. Then, moving down to low wastewater contract, non-reverting, I believe that NR stands for, we've got $44,401.67. That is for,
That's Lowell's money. We're
that's
just
Lowe's money?
We're keeping it safe.
That's what I...
Yep, that's the money you
Okay, I
directed
just
for
wanted
the...
clarification,
Mhm.
and then also wastewater operating, the $2,716,708.23, is that also their money?
No, that's your wastewater operating fund.
Okay,
That's
so that's
your
for
op-
us to take care of things.
That's your daily operations and maintenance.
All right, and then, wastewater treatment plant, I think what WWTP stands for, special. We have, $3,683,979.28, and that is
Capital.
capital. All right. And then, looking down here at redevelopment TIF, we have, $73,870.98, and that's for projects that we're working on related to roads and stuff.
So specifically, the project on the horizon with TIF is the East Side Sidewalk Project. That's from Klein down here to Morse. You guys are currently in the design phase right now for it. First phase construction right now, I believe, is plugged for 2028. I believe that is a 4-phase project now that has been proposed by the engineer. So it's a pretty big project. I believe we're just over estimates altogether of like 2.4 million. I don't have that email in front of me, I'm sorry.
All right, that's enough on that. And the last one is eco-restoration, non-reverting. There's a balance of $1,996,377.20, and I believe that's the Monsanto money that's
Yes, sir, that is the Monsanto money.
which we are receiving interest on. And I just wanted to highlight some of these million-dollar amounts that we had on cash balance.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Jennifer. There's no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Hughes?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to ordinances, number 1, ordinance number 1531, Town Code Amendment, Council Affairs. Can we get a reading by title only, please, Mr. Teal?
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1531, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, repealing adopted town ordinance number 1516, adopted by the Town Council July 15, 2025, pertaining to the Town Council Affairs Committee located in the Town Code Section 30.29A5, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, sir. So, it was 3 meetings back, we reestablished the Council Affairs Committee, and then the ordinance was to follow. And that's simple as what we're doing tonight, Attorney Austin?
That's it.
Okay. All right,
Motion to approve, Mr. President.
approve. Is there a second?
Second it.
Motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Ms. Dixon to approve the first reading of ordinance number 1531. Any discussion?
The people that are on that, committee is
It'd be, Ms. Dixon, Mr. Teal, and Mr. Becker.
correct. I just
Sure.
wanted to look that up.
All right, thank you, Bob. A roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Hughes?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Would it be appropriate to amend the agenda and allow for a second reading tonight?
It would seem so.
Okay.
Follows on your part.
Okay, very good, thank you. Do I have a motion to amend the agenda and allow for a second reading?
So moved.
We have time.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Teal. Second reading by title only, or I'm sorry, we have to go through a roll call.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Hughes?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Now you can read it.
All right, Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1531, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, repealing adopted town ordinance number 1516, adopted by the Town Council July 15th, 2025, pertaining to the Town Council Affairs Committee located in the Town Code Section 30.29A5 and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, sir. There's no further discussion. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 1531?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Ms. Dixon, seconded by Ms. Rivera to adopt ordinance number 1531. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera? Yes. Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Heo?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. 1531 is adopted. Number 2, ordinance number 1532, amendment to sewer system development charges, amending ordinance number 1311. This will be a first reading.
I think these things are getting longer.
Have fun.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1532, an ordinance amending town ordinance number 1311, being an ordinance amending town ordinance number 1248, being an ordinance amending town ordinance number 978, being an ordinance amending town ordinance number 926 of the Town Council of Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, concerning charges for sewer services and all matters related thereto, repealing all ordinances and town code sections or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related thereto, repealing all ordinances and town code sections or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, sir. So without Sue being here, does anybody want to take the lead on this, or do we all want to pitch in to explain what we're doing here?
I guess I could start if you'd like.
Sure.
So this is basically just for new development, sewer system development fees. It has been long overdue for a restructuring and coming up with a new fee schedule. We would like to have had this done a couple of months ago, but there was some verbiage that had to need to be changed. In the past, it was line size, now it is on meter size. Sue Hayes and Tim Kubiak spent a whole lot of time on fine tuning it, getting the numbers correct when it comes to like well with sewer, because we do have that in some cases, so that's where some of the delay came in. Tim, I don't know if you want to elaborate in on any more of that, or that's...
No, basically it was just switching over. Everything before was based on water line size because, you know, the majority of the town was on wells, so you had a 1-inch water line. But realistically, with most of the development now being on new construction as public water, and 5/8 meters are a standard size for the house, so we have a town standard at the minimum water service line that you could run to a new home is 1 inch. So we realistically would have been charging people that $13,750 for a 5/8 meter because of the 1-inch water line size, so it kind of created a lot of confusion. So now that we have a public water system, the meter size is the way to go. And then we, like Rich said, we also have a caveat in here for the GPMs of the well pump that somebody's putting in a well for a new house. Basically, most wells would just be the standard 5/8 meter size charge, but if somebody did put in a larger well, it would bump up according to the gallons of water that the well produced, if it was some kind of big project or something of sorts. But everything is switched over and ironed out and makes much more sense to our situation here.
And this is just for new homes?
Correct.
So it's not for existing, it's for new
Homes
homes?
and businesses, yeah, all new construction.
New system development charges for new people coming online.
And the thought process is that this is not just some random number we picked out of thin air. It's been thoroughly vetted. It's it states in here, non-discriminatory, reasonable, just, and equitable. And it's been put in place and it's being updated now to make sure that the current ratepayers don't have to pay for, the capital improvements going forward. So it's, getting with the times and the projects that are ahead.
And we can only do one reading, and then we gotta have a public hearing on this, correct, Dave?
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, thank you guys for the explanation. Is there any other discussion on this item? If not, is there a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 1532?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1532.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Teal, to approve the first reading of ordinance number 1532. Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Amber.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes.
Nicholas Raputo?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Attorney Austin, when would we expect to have the public hearing on this?
Maybe as soon as 2 weeks.
Okay. Very good, thank you, sir. Moving on to number 3, ordinance number 1533, Cedar Lake Town Responsible Contractor Regulations, amendatory ordinance, amending ordinance number 462. Mr. Teal, by title only, please.
Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, ordinance number 1533, and ordinance amending town ordinance number 462, being an ordinance regulating the construction, alteration, repair, location, and use of buildings and structures in the town of Cedar Lake, Indiana, incorporating by reference building rules, codes, and standards required to be enforced under Indiana Code 36-7-2-9, providing for the issuance of permits, providing penalties for violations, and repealing all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, and repealing all town code sections and ordinances or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and all matters related thereto.
Thank you, sir. So, and hopefully I can answer the folks that came up and remonstrated, the questions here that were brought to our attention. But basically what this is, with the intention of this is to allow people to maintain and repair their current properties. This isn't, their current structures, this isn't designed to allow structural changes and construction without permitting. And it also, another thing that was brought up is affecting licensing. It's not going to affect any licensing requirements by any contractors in town. If you're a contractor in town, you would still have to have licensing. And so this, I don't remember the exact year that this right now we're operating under a $500 threshold. So anything that's over $500 in value, anything that is...
Well, you can kind of judge the age of it by the number 462.
Yeah, so I just want everybody to understand what we're operating under now. Right now, as it's stated, a permit shall be obtained before beginning construction, alteration, or repair of any building or structure, the cost of which exceeds $500, using forms furnished by the town building administrator, and all fees required by the subchapter shall be paid to the town. So everybody should ask themselves what $500 gets you nowadays. And so technically, per our current, the rules we're operating under now, anything that you purchase for your house or anything, any expense that is construction, alteration, or repair, over $500, you have to get a permit for that. And I don't think anybody, maybe I consider myself kind of radical on this, but I don't think many people are going to agree that that's reasonable. So we were looking at getting with the times. And we're getting to a point in Cedar Lake now that I never thought I'd ever experience in my 13 years here, where people are complaining about the property taxes. And people need to understand when they get a permit, and they pull a permit for a lot of these things, so, you know, anything over $500, you're getting reassessed now, and your property taxes continue to go up. So we're trying to give some relief to people that want to fix up their stuff. I think a handful of you guys that campaigned back in 2023 goes back to being a voice for the people. The biggest complaint you guys got was not the folks in the building department, they're good people, it was the policies they're given by the council to enforce and adopt. And we have an ability to change some things here to make it easier on folks.
And one person told me that it cost them over $500 to seal coat their driveway, and they had to get a permit for it. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case or not. At the end of the day, and I'll tell you what frustrates me
I had
about
somebody
this.
tell me that.
This was a number one complaint for me on election day when I was talking to people and campaigning. They want, people, it seemed to me, wanted the ability to maintain their property without getting a reassessment and without a bunch of headaches. And what we're talking about mainly is maintenance items. So, Nick and I, and Rich, and Chuck, and Bob, and there's been times that we have tried to have conversations with building department administration on some fair revisions to some of town code. And that didn't go very well. So Nick and I decided to start looking at town code, and some of the town code was cited to me by the building department, which was how this ordinance number or town code ordinance number 462 got brought to my attention. 462 is the $500 threshold. So anything, basically, depending on how this is interpreted, anything that you spend over $500, and this ordinance dates back to when Geraldine Quartercracks was the clerk treasurer. I'm going to say it was sometime in the 80s. That's the threshold that was in the ordinance. It was never enforced, however. It was never enforced until the last 5-6 years. I don't know exactly when. But I dealt with some of it personally, and I started to scratch my head, and then we started digging into town code, and some of the things that we are requiring permits for aren't even in town code. So then we started looking at, why are we requiring permits for these items when they're not in town code? Well, it's because of a $500 threshold. So in other words, you can't put a roof on your house, I'm talking about a reshingle, without a permit. Although there's nothing in town code that says that you have to get a permit for a reshingle. Frankly, there's nothing in state code that says that. You can have no more than 2 layers, and if you're going to change anything structurally, then it requires a permit. That's one of the things. Just to be reasonable, a person should have a basic right to keep a good roof on their house by whatever means necessary, as long as it's code and things of that nature. So this thing dates back to 462. We bounced a lot of ideas off each other. But some of these things like siding, roofs, simple repairs, maintenance,
Home improvements, we mentioned, yeah.
Like the chamber we discussed, they put a new door in, and all they did was pull the old one out and put a new door in, and they had to get a permit. No structural construction change there, just pull out and push in.
So part of
and Dick and Rob Hen, you guys did it.
Part of the spirit and essence of this is if in 1985 or whenever 462 was drafted, if $500 was fair at that time, and it's never been changed to reflect inflation and cost of things, and what a roof or a siding job material costs now compared to the mid-80s, it seemed logical that there needed to be some sort of a logical revision on what that threshold should be, or we can require permits for what town code says we need to require permits for and not have a $500 threshold. I don't think that we have a clear understanding of what the right thing to do is, but we certainly don't want to deter people from maintaining and improving their property. And that's kind of what this type of ordinance does at this late stage with such a low threshold. So, and there's no clear guideline for the $500 threshold. Depending on who's here and who's interpreting it, $500 is $500. Anybody price a paint job for a house lately, just the materials for a paint job? it's gonna be more than $500. Seal coating your driveway, if somebody decided to interpret it that way, it's gonna be more than $500. So, from a common sense standpoint, we might be at a place, because of the interpretation of this $500 threshold that was never enforced before, we might be deterring people from maintaining and improving their property. And the discussion that we had in very public meetings, we said there was nothing that we were considering that would be structural in this provision. Maintenance and improvements, things such as siding, roofs. If a person wants to do that themselves, they should have the right to do that themselves without any interference from the government. That's the spirit and the essence of what we're trying to do here. Not trying to take work away from Hen and Sons or Mr. Broadhurst's business or anything like that. We're trying to encourage people to maintain their property without the headaches and without a threshold that is 40 years old.
Oh, go ahead, Mary Jo.
So then when I asked you, because I'm not into this is my field, so you did say like if it's a deck or a shed, they would have to get permits because they're structural, correct?
Because they have to have a footing, I would consider that to be structural.
Okay.
I think that, and we've gotten feedback, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mary Jo.
No, that's fine.
But the wording of it, construction, I think probably ought to come out, and
Yeah.
that'll make sure that all that stuff continues to require a permit. And I promise I addressed everybody's concerns, and Mr. Broadhurst brought up the one about all the work that's been done in the community, really to get rid of blight. But what we're seeing now, and what we're hearing from people, is that things are so hard, there's so many hoops to jump through, that we might get to a position where we're gonna bring blight back in. And nothing here that we're doing tonight is gonna stop anybody from going out and hiring a reputable firm or a business to do any work, and nothing's gonna stop them from getting a permit if they want to, even if it's not required. If you don't feel confident in the work your contractor's doing on their own, you can come in, get a permit, it can get inspected, and everything's good to go. It's not gonna eliminate that, it's only gonna eliminate the requirement. And frankly, we live in the United States of America, and we're supposed to have liberty and freedom. We pledge allegiance to the flag, and at some point, people have to be responsible for their own actions when they work on their own house or hire somebody. This thing is so outdated, what we're operating under now. Nowadays, you have Angie's List, you have Google reviews, you have YouTube to learn how to do stuff. You have so many resources that folks didn't have all those years ago. And, people are able to vet contractors a little more. We have a list of registered contractors here in town that people can use. It's not going to stop people from doing that if they want to. We're just not forcing them to do it on their own property.
It's a common sense approach to try to encourage people to improve and maintain and update their property. Not anything structural, not construction, constructing a garage or an addition or something like that. In essence, the appearance and the weatherproofing maintenance of your property. It would befuddle me if anybody thought that that wasn't a fundamental right for folks to be able to maintain their property. So, here's the other thing that befuddles me. Nobody seems to have paid attention to what the state legislature has done with the new legislation for building departments and building permits. Everybody's kind of yawned through that. But there's probably going to come a time here in the town of Cedar Lake that is difficult to fund a building department. And if nobody's looked at that legislation, and I can't remember the number on it, but everybody probably ought to take a look at that. And if you're going to really be concerned about something, maybe you ought to be concerned about some of that stuff. Because this is just common sense stuff that isn't going to really affect anybody. We might be able to get some common sense, voluntary improvements on some properties, and that's what we're looking for.
That's passed by the state legislature.
Correct.
House Bill 1001.
House Bill 1001. The developers got together, lobbied the legislature, and this town cannot raise more money going forward for its building department than it needs to run its building department. So, the money for the general fund and town government to fund that has to come from somewhere. But it's not gonna come from building permits anymore.
And Jennifer, the money we put into the general fund, that helps to pay police and fire, right?
General fund is police and fire.
And that's killing me.
And here's one other issue, Nick kind of touched on it earlier. If you come down here to get a permit to the building department, to get a permit to put a roof on your house, you haven't really increased the value of your house, because basically all you're doing is maintaining your house. But as soon as you pull that permit, you get a reassessment from the county on something that really hasn't made your house worth any more money, but your taxes will go up because of it. That's not a real fair system or encouraging for people to keep their property maintained. That's the kind of stuff that we were considering when we were talking about this stuff. Not trying to put the contractors out of business, not trying to have people do projects that are going to harm them, not trying to affect public safety, just trying to take a common sense approach about maintaining your property.
Tim
That's
did
it.
something.
I know, we talked at quite length earlier. I came up with I think a fair proposal, but I just wanted to throw it out there to you guys. But if you took the $500 out of that exact ordinance and changed that line item to cosmetic repair, such as roofs, siding, kitchen cabinetry,
Painting.
Beautification. General maintenance, cosmetic, you take the number out and you change it to cosmetic, it eliminates maintenance, taken care of, it pretty much.
Seal coating a driveway.
It clearly, there could be a list attached with it, but it really unclutters up that whole number.
Like I told you earlier though, Tim, here's my problem with the whole thing. A lot of this falls on whoever's interpreting it.
No, but I think that a simple list of roofing, siding, you know what I mean? You could change it to maintenance, and then you could also include a 20-item list of maintenance items, or however many, but it would be very, it wouldn't leave anything to interpretation. Obviously, if you say you're not gonna put white paint or yellow siding, or, whatever, it's gonna be general consensus that this is maintenance. But it takes out those concerns of earlier of construction, repair, rebuild. It really takes out structural stuff. It's just maintaining your property, basically, the exact things you're talking about.
The thing that confuses
There's not
me
a dollar amount.
is how we get there in ordinance form. The common sense part of it, not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, which was never the intent. The discussion that we had was very fair discussion and very clear on what we were looking for. It wasn't, okay, everybody, we're just gonna throw all the rule book out and everybody can build whatever they want, and we don't need general contractors anymore. This is just about people who own property, whether they live in it or not, an incentive to maintain it.
100%, and to me, that word doesn't put a dollar amount on it. It's fair. It's essentially exactly what, to me, it's exactly what you're looking for, but it doesn't, if somebody has a house that needs $25,000 worth of shingles just because it's a big house, it doesn't matter. It's maintenance. That dollar amount doesn't come into play because you're maintaining your property. So, it's just an idea. I just thought it was.
Again, Tim, the dollar amount came from, this thing got drafted in the 1980s, and that's how the building department has been enforcing what needs a permit, so,
I agree. I just interpret the proposal the same way as Rob did. I think that it's, and I don't know if you just take the word construction out of that writing, to me, that if that thing said, if it was changed to maintenance and there wasn't a threshold of $1, or there could still be a, you know, I mean, the maintenance aspect of it really clarifies all of those concerns, you know, water heater, you know, what, all that stuff.
Does our website offer an opportunity for a taxpayer to see what type of permits are needed for certain things? Like, for instance, I know I came in for a permit for my siding and downspouts, and I was surprised. I didn't need a permit for my siding, but I needed a permit for my downspouts. Is there like...
No, there's...
If siding was over $500, you needed a permit.
Right.
Okay.
And then when she got hers, it might not, yeah, I don't know. But there isn't a clear definition, like Greg said, we have the $500 threshold, we have the code thing, but we don't have any clear, you know, I mean, but I did a little looking around at different communities and different things, and it seems like most of them had the maintenance items, kitchen cabinets,
Right.
flooring, painting, you know, all of the general maintenance stuff, roofing without structural, just shingle, second layer shingle, you know, that would need a permit, siding. It just seemed, I mean, it seemed like a cleaner, easier
My two senses, this is not in my wheelhouse, but I was thinking of a term to use like beautification, maintenance, the facade of the home, all that. I feel like this is so broad, and what makes me uncomfortable is, I get it was in the 80s, $500 in the 80s is a lot different than now, but I think the 500 and then it jumps to 15,000, that's one thing that made me uncomfortable. But like what Tim is saying, I don't feel ready to vote yes on this without cleaning that up a little bit so it's clear to people, because I think this one's too open to interpretation.
It's too open to interpretation now. That's why we're here.
Agreed. Yeah.
Agreed.
So.
I don't want to keep kicking the can down the road.
And I'll tell you where the $15,000 number came from. You could do a lot in 1985 with $500. If you're going to put a roof on a 3,000 square foot house now, the material is probably $8,000-9,000.
But I don't think with inflation in the 80s, 500 equates to 15,000
Let's
in
ask
2026.
You could put a roof on a 1,000 square foot house in 1985 for $500 in material costs. Absolutely.
And it may be that maintenance might be a better word, because Tim indicated, there could be a huge house that it would cost $25,000 to shingle a roof.
I don't think that the council and the discussion that we've had, I don't think we're hell-bent on anything except something that makes sense and isn't stuck to a $500 threshold. Am I wrong?
Right.
But we are gonna take the construction part out of here.
I think it needs to clearly state maintenance and beautification.
Yeah.
Cosmetic.
Well,
Cosmetic.
I mean, the rest of it, alteration or repair, what's wrong with that?
I get that. I think the construction part throws it off, you know,
Yeah,
because
I
then if we
agree.
went with a dollar amount, you can buy a pre-made shed from Home Depot, Menards, Lowe's for $10,000.
Stick it
You're not
in the
constructing anything. You're having it delivered, and technically, by that, you don't need a permit. That's where clarification needs to be more of a list of beautification. Can you say, is a shed beautifying your yard? I'd say no.
Rich,
But
this ordinance
Right.
1533 is basically verbatim as the ordinance 462, except the ordinance 462 in 1985 or whenever it was a $500 threshold, which probably made sense for that time period. The reason why the $15,000 was because material siding, if you're gonna do a siding job, might cost $15,000, or a large roof, the material might cost $15,000, if we're gonna be stuck to a number.
Well, but, and I agree more with no number and more on verbiage than anything.
Again, I'm open to whatever makes common sense, but we want people to maintain their property.
Yeah.
We don't want to become slum and blight and be put on your unsafe building.
Right.
But if your neighbor
Exactly.
does something crazy without getting a permit, it might add to blight.
Yeah.
Or an eyesore.
The discussion that we had never proposed anything like that. And the discussion was in a public meeting. we were very clear on what we were talking about. It never was meant to get off the rails.
And I think you and Nick have been clear, but I don't think that this ordinance is clear enough.
I agree with Julie on that. To me, this is just changing a number and not changing the ordinance from 80s.
Well, what
Other than my
happens-
number.
Well, I mean,
Unless we
what
do
hap-
the, yeah.
what happens if you just got rid of construction and left all the rest of it
We put like
the way it is?
IE,
I would still say we need to add the maintenance in there. I mean,
So before maintenance, alteration, or repair? Yeah.
And we can tweak it tonight and pass this with those changes. can't
Yeah,
we?
and even once we institute this, we can tweak it again if we had to.
Right.
What we're doing now doesn't seem to work for the people of Cedar
We
Lake.
could do one reading tonight and then continue it to the next, to just make sure we've got everything tweaked in there.
I mean, I would rather do it that way, one reading tonight, and then instead of it, us looking at the draft and that and just talking about it, I'd rather see a final
Okay, and then
before doing a second.
another change that was mentioned to me was changing the term, town building administrator to town building department.
Yes.
Correct, Tim? That's to make sure that covers in case job titles change or whatever, the permit has to come from the building department. Okay.
And I just had one quick thing to add about that chamber permit, because I've heard it 17 times now, but the chamber had to get a permit to change the door because it's a commercial building. It was a $50 repair existing improvement permit. And the chamber door that was on there for 1,000 years did not meet code for a commercial building. It was an in-swing door. By that review process for that permit, the Hens put in the proper door that needed to go in there, and now it meets building code. So for that $50 that the permit was unridiculous, that is now proper. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're just saying, give me $50 and put it in the pocket, but now that is done properly and the door meets ADA requirements and it's the proper door for the building.
I constantly heard that.
So, and I know that, I've heard it a couple times, but it's kind of.
At the end of the day though, Tim,
disheartening.
it still wasn't a structural integrity thing.
But it's still a code that's an outswing door on
I
that
understand
building.
and now it meets code, but it could have met the code even if, I mean, Rob's not gonna do something that isn't code. He's been in business for a long time, he's not gonna do something.
And I agree, it's not the end of the world, like,
No.
if the permit doesn't need to be there, but if
But
you just start letting things
Tim,
happen.
here's the other thing, I think the average person doesn't know what they can do or what they can't do.
No, it's very unclear.
It's very unclear. Not only that, but for me to get a permit to maintain my property, I gotta come down here during your business hours and compromise my business hours for what I'm doing. That doesn't always line up. And if I've got a plan to do something on the weekend and it's not structural, I shouldn't have to take a day off work or change my schedule for the guy that's working and paying the taxes and the bills around here to come down here and get a $50 permit to maintain his property. It's nonsense. And that's the part.
No, and I mean, I agree with that, I think that the cosmetic repairs is exactly what you're asking for without putting a dollar amount on it.
maintenance and
That's all.
cosmetic repairs.
Just seems like it seems to make sense to me.
Okay. So this is a first reading of ordinance number 1533. We've had the first reading. There's been some dialogue on what changes need to be made to, I think it's only Exhibit A. Is there a motion to approve?
Could we have a determination of where we want to make changes before we make a motion?
Yeah, I was gonna put it in a motion, but go ahead,
Okay,
Bob.
all right. And explain to me where you're at on the page.
So I'm on Exhibit A, which is page 3 of the ordinance packet. Well, you don't have an iPad, but
Mr. President,
yes, sir.
Bob's right. You should make the changes to the ordinance before you consider any reading or action.
Before action?
Make the changes, identify the changes for the first reading consideration.
Okay. All All right, thank you. So, it'd be the third page, Bob, if you got paper?
All right, I've got ordinance 1533 here. I want to know where I need to mark on.
Go to the exhibit.
Should be the last page. It's just got like one small paragraph up top.
Right there, Bob, turn it over. Right there.
Okay.
Good eyes.
Been looking at it all day.
All right, I got it.
So the changes were to remove the word construction and add maintenance. And all else remained the same except for changing, using forms furnished by the town building administrator to town building department.
And remove the 15,000.
Well, it wasn't removing the 15,000, because then you would need to require a permit for absolutely everything.
So we're gonna
Right.
leave the 15 in there?
For the first reading, if you guys want to.
I thought we were gonna take it out, because as Tim indicated, that if a huge house, it needs a roof on it, and it's gonna be 25,000, then they're gonna still have to get a permit then.
Then add in here, any reshingling of roof, not required.
Yeah.
You could do that. Right?
Yeah.
So we won't put maintenance, comma, cosmetic, what was the other word you said, Tim?
I just said cosmetic repair, including that list of stuff, cabinetry, flooring, painting,
Paint.
siding, roofing. But alteration to me is still in there, so what is an alteration considered?
Well, what we discussed earlier included windows as long as they were going in the same RO.
Which would be
Windows,
maintenance.
doors.
But I agree that that's maintenance and repair, but I guess the construction and alteration seems like both of those should be out of there.
Yeah, what's wrong with altering your floor? You're altering your countertop.
So I think that'd be maintenance.
Yeah.
So this is getting kinda.
Yeah.
It's the same problem, unfortunately, that we've had ever since we started talking about this. Now, we gotta split hairs and come up with,
Definitions.
yeah, and forgive me, this is not that complicated. It drives me absolutely insane. I don't know why we can't come up with something that makes, frankly, some of this stuff isn't even in town code without the $500 threshold, which is, it's just incredible to me that we're hung up on this. I mean, this whole thing started because of this $500 threshold from 1982.
Well, when we talked earlier, I said, not everybody's gonna think this is perfect. People are gonna want it one way, these other people are gonna want it another way. Meet in the middle with something, and like I said, well, like you said, Bob, this is the first reading, and once it gets adopted, if it does, if we have to change it, like we just changed one or two other things tonight, we change it. It's not the end of the world, but it seems to make sense, and why not give people some ability to do some stuff in their house and see how it shakes out? We start having problems, then we readdress it. I don't understand what's so hard about that. I really don't.
I don't either.
So we're changing construction, we're eliminating construction.
Well, at the end of the day, Mary Jo, construction is already in town code. What isn't in town code is roofs, siding, the stuff that you used to be able, before we started enforcing this $500 threshold, you didn't have to come down here if you were replacing your windows, your siding, your roof. You didn't have to come down here for none of that stuff until this $500, because it's not in the town code now. The only thing that's in there that makes you do it is the $500 threshold. So, forgive me, but that's what's causing all the static in my head right now. This stuff isn't in town code right now. Construction is in town code by definition. So what are we doing? I don't get it.
Can I
That's why
read?
I want a clear list so that this doesn't happen again. I mean, if you have a clear list, there's nobody sitting up here saying you said and I said, and it doesn't have to be 100%, but that cosmetic, it seems like everything we're talking about is cosmetic repairs with a simple cabinetry, flooring, painting, siding, roofing, whatever else, windows. I mean, all that is now considered cosmetic repair. You don't need a permit. Done under story. Like, it seems simple to me.
What do you guys think about this wording? A permit shall be obtained before beginning any construction and any maintenance, alteration, or repair of any building or structure, the cost of which exceeds $15,000, using forms furnished by the town building department, and all fees required by the subchapter shall be paid to the town, and any reshingling of roof is exempt. Keep hearing about roofs.
Siding was mentioned too.
If
That's cosmetic.
the thing that troubles me, I mean, Tim, I know how old Tim is. He's 60, I'm 60. Am I right?
You're 60?
We're not always gonna be here. And
That's why,
the interpretation needs to be clear enough.
100%. That's why I think that list is super, like, no matter who's sitting in that chair looking at this, it's very clear that this is a maintenance item. I don't know what David's opinion is, the dollars versus the cosmetic items. I mean, do you have an opinion, or is it, the dollar amount to me just, like you said, next week? I mean.
Yeah.
Let me take cosmetic to another place.
Could you move the mic closer to you, Dave, please?
I can, Bob. I can. What is cosmetic?
Aesthetics,
Keep talking about it. What are aesthetics?
how the appearance of a property is, updating the appearance of it. And Dave, I'll give you an example. My rental house, I painted it, the vinyl siding last year. It looks, if you drive by that house, it looks like it got re-sided. But it didn't. Did I spend more than $500 on that paint? I absolutely did. So, I think that's what we're talking about, cosmetic. Siding isn't that hard to do. So, at the end of the day, if somebody puts siding on their house without a tax reassessment, we get a better looking town of Cedar Lake because people are updating their property without a bunch of headaches. But maybe aesthetics is a better word. I don't know. Cosmetics makes me think of Maybelline and makeup.
Well, I was gonna finish my comment by suggesting to you that cosmetic or aesthetic or any similar type of word, descriptive word, is opinion-based, individual to the inspector, and it may not be enforceable depending upon how it's viewed. If there's a challenge, a dispute, a disagreement, or some litigation, law stuff in the eye of the beholder. You can't enforce it, or you think there's going to be difficulty enforcing it, you shouldn't do it. Find the right objective law stance, law position, and use that. I know everybody's trying to find the path. I get that. But taking the path that will prove to be difficult to enforce and administer, that's going to be tough.
Well, a dollar amount is really simple to enforce, isn't it? When somebody comes in and applies for a permit and they say it's a $16,000 job, well, boom, you need a permit.
You know, Dave, you just gave me an idea. What if the dollar amount is eliminated altogether? There's no threshold.
Well, then what do you have left?
Siding, roofs, maintenance items, aesthetics. What do you guys want?
Most towns do have a list. When you go to towns,
Yeah.
they have a list on their web. I think that would make it the easiest.
Yeah, I think that's.
It's a public record, everybody can see it. I mean, you
read it
can,
and say, hey, I'm doing a changing my front door, I'm doing this, I don't need a permit. Like,
they
makes
check it out on the
simple for
website, they
everybody.
come to you and say, hey, I saw on the website, I have to get a permit.
That's
They have a
fine.
list of what you need permits for, a list of what you don't need permits for.
The $500 threshold, starting to enforce the $500 threshold is what started all this nonsense to begin with.
Well, I just hope this thing doesn't get beat to death where we don't have any change, because that's where I feel it's going.
Nick,
Honest to God, because we've been working on this for how many years?
It's so frustrating to me that we're 3 years into this, and we
Haven't done anything.
can't get a damn thing done with something that should be this simple. It makes me wanna pull my hair out. What's left of it, sorry.
So what are we doing here?
I mean, an ordinance has to be something that can be interpreted easily and list the things, which I don't think is that difficult to do. Roofs, siding, windows and doors, as long as the RO isn't changing.
Painting your house.
Painting your house, fixing your railing.
So what happens when what happens if we forget to put something on the list? Now we gotta go and amend this again?
That's what scares me.
That's why I don't like the list, because
No.
stuff's gonna get forgotten.
No. You had a category, other similarly situated or styled uses.
Yeah.
It'll be a catch-all.
You have the catch-all.
That's unfortunately where common sense has to come into play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unfortunately, but it does. I mean, but if you have a list with all this stuff on there and there's something pretty darn similar, common sense is gonna say, you're good. But you can't, I mean, I understand what you're saying, you can't have the list 100% because, but like Dave said, or like, or similar, or whatever is good. And I mean, I think that makes perfect sense for the people with the questions, because you can look at that list and it's a lot easier to interpret. I mean, just some of the stuff I looked at, some of the other surrounding towns had a pretty nice, I mean, it said cabinets, flooring, painting, roofs without sheeting, it had a pretty nice list.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Can we get a list together by the end of this week, so we have another week to review it and defer this until 2 weeks and have it set and be ready in 2 weeks, first and second reading?
I'd like to think we could, but something tells me that we can't.
Well, then we just need to make the time to do it. I mean, that's the way I see it. I mean, because we could talk all night about a list and add one more thing and another thing.
Well, and I agree, Rich, and the problem with some of this is it has to be vetted in a public meeting because it doesn't meet the criteria to do in an executive session.
I completely understand that, but I think as much dialogue as we've had today, that we could look at the minutes, watch the video, and each come up with pretty close to the same list. Even with Tim, and say, okay, here's our damn notes.
I mean, I can get with them guys tomorrow and we can make a proposed list for you guys to look at and see what you think. I mean, based on some of the other towns and whatever, we know the main ones, but I think some of that interior stuff that we talked about earlier, like cabinetry.
I haven't even considered any of that.
Like, to me, that seems like a great thing to add to this, so that way it's very.
At the end of the day, what somebody's doing inside their house, if it's not hurting anybody else, it's not affecting your property value.
We're just not gonna let anybody, we're not gonna, any electrical work needs a permit.
Unless they're tearing out a load-bearing wall.
That's structural.
That's gonna show itself pretty quick.
Yeah.
And if you don't open the door,
I mean, it's been 43 years, what's 2 more weeks?
So is that what we're doing? We're getting a list of the building
I
department?
think that's what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to defer.
With what contingency? What are we doing here? What's our action item?
That we have a list ready and
More defined.
a more defined list ready for us all to review and have the actual finished document that we can vote on in 2 weeks.
And who's gonna create the list?
Well, I think it's a combination with council and building department with a clear understanding of what all the discussion was tonight.
So is that gonna be, is Tim,
If
are
you
they
want,
gonna start that?
if you want to get with the building department and create the initial list and get it to you guys by the end of the week, and then you guys can put your 2 cents in.
I guess the downside of that, and my question is gonna be, is can David have that in draft form for the next council meeting based on what we're gonna put together on this?
Is this more just of an exhibit, though?
That depends on my grandchildren. And spending time with my grandchildren this weekend.
I get it.
That tops it.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Oh, the public comment section was over unless you got some emergency.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, could you maybe include a general contractor? They might have some insight that you guys don't have.
I'm not advocating for general contractors, I'm advocating for citizens of Cedar Lake.
Well, that's how we
I'm
got
sorry,
there,
but
is
that's where-
advocating for general contractors.
I understand that.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're not turning this into, you will have, there will be time for public comment, Ms. Kerr, I promise. Yes, we're deferring this.
We're deferring
So
this
we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Parker, to defer this item and requesting a list from the building department, to include in Exhibit A. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
No.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero?
No. Motion carries 5-2. Moving on to Plan and BZA. 1, setting a pool date for Wicker Enterprises Performance Letter of Credit in the amount of $11,731.50, set to expire on August 17th, 2026.
Make the motion to set the poll date for Wicker Enterprise.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Parker to set the poll date. Any further discussion?
Yes, who is this for?
This would be for the, I think, the Glenn and Justice building on 41?
135th and 41?
Yeah, yep.
Do we have
a poll date?
We have August 7th on here as the expiration date.
It says the surety is set to expire on that date.
Yeah, you need 5 days before that, don't you?
So,
It needs to be August 2nd.
August
2nd.
August 2nd, not the 7th? Okay. Is there an amended motion and second?
Yes.
Okay, and we're good with that, Attorney Austin?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
And it's my understanding that, they have, their thing with DeMont State, and DeMont State won't give 3 years. So they're looking to get another bank to do this.
Okay.
The latest proposal is that they're going to provide a cash maintenance bond, it's like $2,035.
Yeah,
So I think they're just gonna go that route, so they don't have to deal with the banks.
If they got it done by August 2nd.
I think everything is, Luke's done the inspections, and everything is on track for them to do that. It just got missed and didn't get handled by the plan commission, so we just wanted to have a safety net by having you guys do this.
Okay.
It's a small amount.
It's a small amount, but it's an amount.
All right, we had a motion and a second and discussion. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julia Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Teal?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. New business, memorandum of understanding between Crown Point Fire and Cedar Lake Fire. Chief Mager, what you got for us? Or is that for you, or is that Jennifer?
It's kind of both of
Both?
us, so I'll let Jennifer, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go because Cliff actually gave me a little nice background.
Oh, nice.
So currently, the fire department has its own contract with Image Trend, which is used for, reporting and various other things. But we have a standalone contract, whereas everybody else in the area actually works off of Crown Point's contract. So this actually came about because of our employees who pick up shifts at Crown Point and elsewhere and use the system off of Crown Point. We have a lag with our system, it seems like. And when they report, other places that are off of Crown Point, they can save roughly like 30% of their time doing the reporting. And if we were to move to Crown Point's system, in the first year, we'd save a little over $7,000, and in year 2, it would be a little over $10,000. So basically, the recommendation is that we're asking for town council to approve for us to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the Crown Point Fire Department and the Cedar Lake Fire Department, because it'll reduce our annual costs, it'll align our department with the standard reporting workflow that pretty much everybody else is doing. And, this came about from the employees that are actually doing the work on a daily basis. I see no downside to this.
So you get the same quality of service for less money?
Better quality,
Or
it
better,
sounds like.
better
And
quality?
we save money.
And we save a significant amount of money over year one and year two.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Crown Point Fire and Cedar Lake Fire.
Mr. President, if I
Yes.
could add, could your motion also include execution of the MOU by the town council president and the fire chief?
Execution of MOU, and what is MOU?
The memorandum of understanding.
Okay, all right, I don't like acronyms.
Sorry, Bob.
You know that.
The stereo. I'll second that.
I have one question.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, discussion?
I just want to make sure it's okay with the chief.
Yeah.
Yes, the three of us have been working together. We actually started this last year. Started running the issues with Image Trend over last year, and the more research we did, found this will actually enhance service with Image Trend, a records management company, and work hand in hand with Crown Point. They'll work
Just want to make sure
perfectly
it's
for
okay
us.
with you.
Yes.
All right. Very good. So we got a motion and a second to approve this MOU between Crown Point Fire and Cedar Lake Fire to include the execution of the documents by the town council president and fire chief. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Field?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 2, approval of property sale, West 127th Place to Cheryl Reeves.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve and accept the bid.
And the bid is?
Do you have the paper on you?
I don't care what it is, I'll second the motion.
It was 40-some thousand, Bob.
Yeah, I know, I found that.
41,000?
Yeah. Yes, I want to say 41.
Okay.
I don't have it with me.
And who seconded that?
I did.
Parker?
I'm happy that this is finally getting over with.
Yeah.
You and me both.
So we have a motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Mr. Parker to approve the sale of this property for $41,000. That is our exact amount, correct?
No.
No, it's not
She
around.
knows.
No? Okay.
Cheryl, could you tell us, please? Oh, you don't know, okay, sorry.
All right, it's
As per
per the amount in
stated
the
in the bid.
bid opening. Yep.
That's good.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Field?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Number 3, 2026 Heart and Soul matching funding request, $2,000. Ms. Asada, would you like to come on up? Please?
Julie Zasada, 9430 West 135th Place, here representing the Cedar Lake Historical Association, which is the grant organization that has been administering the Heart and Soul Project for our community. So as I mentioned at your last meeting, we have a matching fund requirement for our grant, and per each year is about $5,000. And so we are coming to you to request $2,000 from your promotions line item, which is the same protocol that we used last year. This funds will be reinvested back into the Heart and Soul Project, so it will be a direct benefit to the Cedar Lake community through what we call quick win projects, which are small dollar amount projects, but have some sort of impact for the community.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Becker to approve this funding request. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Field?
Yes.
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
And if you wouldn't, you're welcome.
I'm not gonna leave.
Okay. So we're gonna move on to the Historical Association request for town grant planning appointees, if you wouldn't mind giving us a...
Yeah.
overview.
So also, as I mentioned in our last meeting, we have been invited to the second round of the grant application process through the Crown Point Community Foundation. It's a $1 million grant opportunity, so we need to prepare a joint it's a collaborative project, has to be a collaborative project. So Cedar Lake Historical Association will facilitate utilizing the ideas that are coming out of the Heart and Soul project, but the joint collaborators that we want to include in this application process are the town council, the park department or park board, and the Parks Foundation. So we're looking for representatives from all of those organizations to be a part of the grant writing process. Cedar Lake Historical will still do the grant application, be responsible for submitting it, be the fiscal agent should it be awarded, but we want to make sure that these voices of these other boards are used in collaboration to come up with the project.
Can I ask, when you have meetings for this, will they be primarily in the evening or the day? Evening?
Most likely because of schedules, yes. Yes.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mary Joan Dixon and Julie Rivera to that committee.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Becker to appoint Mary Joan Dixon and Julie Rivera to this committee. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Nicholas Rakupido?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Julie. Have a good night. Number 5, Board of Safety favorable recommendation, conditional offers for 2 police department candidates. Chief Grushka?
Excuse me. Well, we've completed our background checks on these 2 individuals, and moving forward to get them approved through PERB, we'd like this, offer them these conditional offer.
And
Process.
And then the safety board said they're
Safety
2 of
board-
the best they've seen in a
Safety
long
Board
time.
had a favorable recommendation for these 2, and as I do as well.
Do we have names to add to the motion?
We could, yes, we
Yeah.
have Jack Medina is here, and then Justin Salas is the other one.
Justin Salas?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chief.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Ms. Dixon to approve the Board of Safety favorable recommendation of conditional offers for 2 police department candidates, 1 being Jack Medina and 2 being Justin Salas. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Joan Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Thiel?
Yes.
Nicholas Rakupido?
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone, would they like to speak, or would?
I asked him earlier, he
Yeah.
said no.
Okay, I respect that.
We'll wait till you get sworn in.
Yeah. All right, number 6, authorize the clerk treasurer to begin RFP process for the following projects: A, 133rd Road Raise Culvert Construction, and B, Cedar Lake Trail Project.
And before she starts, Chuck Bradsky asked me to try and get this going, so I came in and talked to Jennifer, and she's going to take it from here.
Very good.
Well, since I'm the employee responsible in charge for all of our projects, I have to formally put out the RFP, which is a request for proposals for the next step of our projects. This ensures that as we go through the process with NDOT, that we'll get our funds reimbursed back to us. So the 133rd Road Raise and Culvert Project, we already have an NDOT contract signed for that one. That one's already pretty much CBEL's wrapped up design on that one, and we should be going to letting later this fall and then construction next year. So we'll be putting out a request for proposal for the construction engineering. Sorry, didn't want to say the wrong thing. It's construction engineering, because NDOT likes you to have that in place before you go to letting. And then for the Cedar Lake Trail Project, this RFP will be for design engineering. That was formerly known as the Ponders Creek. Moving forward, it'll be called the Cedar Lake Trail Project, and this is to get that going in the right direction again.
And Charles indicated that he has money available to spend this year, and we need to get this going right away so we can tap into some of that money.
Let's get it going.
It'll be another one of the 80/20 projects.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize the clerk treasurer to begin, requests for proposals process for the following projects: 133rd Road Raise Culvert Construction and Cedar Lake Trail Project.
I'll second it.
We have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan, seconded by Mr. Parker, to authorize the clerk treasurer to begin the request for proposals process for the following projects: 133rd Road Raise Culvert Construction and Cedar Lake Trail Project. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes?
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Jennifer. Number 7, direct Mr. Tim Kubiak to place an illuminated stop sign at 147th Avenue heading east towards Pine Avenue. You're just looking for some direction, right, Tim?
I guess, yes.
You told me you didn't get any direction from the council, so that's why I put it
And
on.
again, I guess the purpose, or I guess the last discussion in January was where was the $5,000 gonna come from for the 2 signs? Jennifer said that we have money to buy 1 sign. I don't know if you guys would prefer the stop ahead sign or the stop sign.
I talked with Lori Brown, who lives over there in the corner of 147th and Klein, and she says they basically just need warning that the stop sign is ahead and the stop sign. And on 147th, they don't need it on Klein.
Correct.
She
Going east.
said that, I'm not aware, but she said they've hit those concrete pillars in the past. I don't know that that's ever
There is a
happened.
small blinking sign on the top of the stop sign. It's just like a barricade flashing red sign. To me, if we were going to, I'm gonna be able to pay for one of these out of the current public works sign budget, but not both. So it seems to me that if we were going to choose, I guess you guys should make the decision on which one we put, either to stop ahead to let people know it's coming above the hill, which to me makes the most sense, because if you're going 60 and you see a stop ahead flashing sign before you're at the top of that hill, it seems like it would do, better, it would do more good, I guess, in my eyes. I'd rather
If you
know
catch
that.
anybody doing 60 over there, put them in jail, would you?
Sure would.
Well, the ones that we've had problems with, I think that's what the case
I
was.
think that's absolutely the case too.
But it seems like if you were starting to come up that hill and you've seen that
It is
stop
blind,
ahead sign,
for
you
sure,
know,
without it.
you'd be able to slow down before getting to the crest of the hill and then running into the blocks.
And something like that can happen, because it happened at Klein and Lake Shore Drive, where
yeah.
those 2 kids were driving 100 miles an hour, hit a car, decapitated the man's head, and pushed their vehicle into the chamber lot and pushed the truck into the lake.
Yeah, anything could happen, but I guess I just would like your input on which sign to go with first, because we have money for one. So if you guys agree.
I think the stop ahead for sure.
You're making that informal motion.
Yeah.
And that is enough just for the one,
What you said.
Jennifer, or do we have enough for both?
Or does he have money for both?
I-
Budget, he said he only has for one.
Right now, we have a little bit of money in there, but we have the new stop signs and posts and street signs to purchase for the High Grove project, as we've been redoing them, we've been replacing and updating all those signs, so I need to get that done and kind of see where we sit with dollars, I guess, at the end of the, maybe in once we get closer to the end of the year,
All right.
we'll get the second one.
So then I'll make the motion to, do the stop ahead sign on
I'll second it.
147.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Teal, seconded by Ms. Dixon, to direct Tim Kubiak to place an illuminated stop ahead sign at 147th Avenue heading east towards Klein Avenue. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
Mary Jo Dixon?
Yes.
Chuck Becker?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Richard Seal?
Yes?
Nicholas Recupero?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Okay, moving on to reports, town council reports. Mr. Carnahan.
I'll do first one, I want to say the food pantry is open tomorrow from 9 to 11:30. We have plums, we have cheddar cheese, we have milk, we have peaches, and we also have cases of tomatoes to give away tomorrow. So anybody that you know needs to go to the food pantry, come and see us. I want to get rid of that stuff. I don't want to have it go to waste.
If there's extra tomatoes, I'll take them.
Okay. All right, and then the next thing I have is that at my last Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission meeting, I serve on a leadership committee, and the governor's appointment to the Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission is Anthony Ferraro. And I just happened to mention to him the fact that we had asked the Indiana Department of Transportation for relief on completing our community crossing grant project, which had to be completed within 2 years. Due to the fact that NIPSCO delayed this, we were denied. And Nick, if you could read that statement from the Indiana Department of Transportation. Anthony went over and got a hold of him, and he said, you talked to NDOT after the meeting. I hung around, talked to him, and then I got this email just recently, I think today.
Okay, would you like me to read it here, Bob?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is from Matthew K., I'm gonna probably butcher his name, but Deakley with NDOT, and this was sent to you as well as Mr. Ferraro. It says, Bob, I am just following up on our conversation about the community crossings waiver that was requested due to your Cedar Lake project lasting beyond the 2-year window. I know you mentioned that NIPSCO was the reason the project was not closed out in time. I worked with our team and we will be able to grant you the waiver to allow Cedar Lake to apply for the next call. Please know this will be a one-time offer because we need to make sure we stick to that 2-year closeout window, even if others are at play. Also, this does not guarantee that Cedar Lake will receive funds in the next call. The very competitive process will continue to select the best candidates for funding. I'm including Tony Ferraro on this email because I know Tony was involved when we discussed this at NERPC last week. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Thanks. And it's signed Matthew Deatley, Deputy Commissioner, Indiana Department of Transportation, Northwest District. So that's good news, right?
And I just spoke up, and so we at least get to apply for the 2027 Community Crossing Grant. That doesn't mean we're gonna get it, but at least we get to apply. We were told we couldn't apply prior to this.
Good job.
So,
Thank you, Bob.
Tony takes care.
And Tony as well.
yeah,
Everybody
thank
involved.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other town council reports?
I just wanted to let you know I registered for the AIM Budget 101 for 2027. It's Monday at 9 o'clock. And then also the Cedar Lake Chamber of Commerce is hosting their annual yard sale, and they have over 80 residents participating. That's like a record of some sort. So,
Yeah.
and then they're using a program that you can download that if you put down you're looking for golf clubs, it will give you all the addresses where golf clubs are. So it'll direct you in a circle instead of like buzzing all over town. So take advantage of the technology.
Very cool. Anyone else for town council reports?
Yes, Mr. President, I just want to state that last Thursday I did attend the Lake County Solid Waste Management District meeting. I did leave my notes in the car, so my apologies for that.
Okay. All right. Moving on to town attorney, any reports?
No reports.
Thank you. Clerk treasurer, Ms. Sandberg?
Last week, I attended the Indiana League of Municipal Clerks and Treasurers Annual Conference, as well as State Board of Accounts School. It was a State Board of Accounts called meeting. So lots of learning sessions on new legislation, redevelopment authorities, redevelopment commissions, going paperless, using AI, standard operating procedures, uniform compliance guideline updates from State Board of Accounts, and again, lots of sessions on the new legislation and things that will affect us, like the building and construction fees, contract uploads, excise distributions, public notices, lit, must requirements as we go into, 2027 and 2028 and forward, public records request changes, wage assignment changes, lane mile distributions, all important penny phase out that is coming and will affect all of us. Also fun stuff like investigations and fraud. I love when those guys come in and start talking about that stuff. It's always a good time to meet with the other clerks and treasurers and controllers from around the state, network and glean a lot of information from others and see how they do things. Friday, I have a meeting scheduled with our financial consultant to start discussing the 2027 budget and revenue needs for the town. And now that you guys have officially put council affairs back into place, I'll probably reach out later this week to schedule a first meeting with council affairs to discuss what council's priorities are moving into the budget for 2027.
Very good. Thank you, Jennifer. Number 4, Director of Operations, Mr. Kubiak.
I don't have anything new, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Everything's been dry out there? All right. Police Department, Chief Kruska.
Well, okay, for the month of June, we had 826 calls for service. We had 230 traffic stops. Of those, we issued 220 warnings, 108 citations. We had 574 law incident reports. Where there, we made 26 arrests. And in those 26 arrests, we filed 31 charges on that. We had ordinance violations. We issued 43 warnings and 44 citations for the month of June. We also had a special meeting with the Board of Safety regarding applicants and vacancies. We decided to try an immediate hire. We're currently in the middle of that right now. We've had it for about a week right now. So far, we haven't had anybody bite on that. We're just waiting to see. Hopefully, if you're listening out there and you're a police officer looking to make a change, give us a look. We appreciate it. Also, we appointed a new training coordinator, and he's sitting right in the back there, Officer Dustin Corbin. He's a rock star, so he's going to do very well as our training coordinator. Promotions, we asked, we're in that process right now where we've asked for letters of intent. We've got until Friday, but right now I think we've got most of who's going to apply for those, and we'll just start going through those starting next week with the Board of Safety, and then just see where we're at. We've got a lot of really good corporal candidates this year.
Good.
So, also communications. Just wanted to say congratulations to the Hanover girls softball team, state champs. It was an honor for us to provide an escort to them coming into Lake County. So, we also just want to mention that we received $10,000 in the SAFE Grant Award. That is going to be used to help pay for our canine overtime. And also we're, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Also just want to say Tesla this week, or last week, made it through its first pursuit. That was exciting. It was a pretty good one too, actually. So, and then also, I just wanted to say, finished our stuff for Summerfest. As you can see, let's see, I'll just go. Our overtime for Summerfest, what we normally do, was pretty much about the same as last year. I could provide numbers probably at the next meeting. I provided 30.5 free hours working Summerfest with the officers. That's why you can see my tan got really good this last time. I was directing traffic. And I really want to say this, give a big shout out to Deputy Chief Brittingham, former Commander Tom Kidd. our VIPS guys, and I'll say myself, we directed traffic up and down Constitution. And I want to give a shout out to the kids that were over here in the, by the soccer fields. They were putting some cars in, they did a really nice job putting them in. And I thought it went very well this year as far as traffic flow. We battled a storm one night, and it still flowed out really well. So I just want to say kudos to all those involved in that.
And you did a good job on firework night, getting people out. I was very impressed.
Oh, I'm sorry, you know what, now that you mentioned that, I do want to say, I'll add Sergeant Kilgore to that list too. He and I stood there just making people roll their windows down, asking them where you're going, and we were putting them in the right lane. I think that did make a big difference this year.
Anybody going in the left lane had to go north, anybody in the right lane had to go south.
Yep, at least for most of it.
Yeah.
It was subject to change.
Yeah.
Chief,
Mm-hmm.
I missed the last meeting, of course, but I wanted to commend the PD and their ceremony for Chief Warnoff. I was able to witness that, and it was a phenomenal send-off for Chief Warnoff. I think the police department, those who participated in that, did a phenomenal job. It's just
Thanks.
for the circumstances and the sad event, but what a phenomenon. And Chief Cowder you guys did very proud.
Thank you.
I did attend the funeral services at Holy Name.
I knew Barry from the start of my career until he left, and we had a few stories together, and he was just a good guy. I mean, he was, I considered him a friend. It was an honor to provide any kind of service that we could for them.
You guys did a great job honoring him.
Thank you, that means a lot to us.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Fire Department, Chief Mager.
Good evening. I'm going to start by recognizing some staff members as I received a letter from the EMS director recently. On May 24th this year, they successfully delivered a baby in the back of the ambulance. On behalf of Governor Braun and the Indiana EMS Commission, we'd like to congratulate you on becoming a member of the Stork Club. Please find enclosed your Stork Club certificate in appreciation of your efforts in delivering a baby. We would like to thank you and your continued work and dedication to Indiana's emergency medical services, community, and citizens of Indiana. Sincerely, Craig Kenny, State of Indiana EMS Director. Staff members were Battalion Chief Sella, firefighter paramedics Smisak, Riley, Sanu, and firefighter EMT Ugarin. For the month of June, 278 total incidents, 193 of which were EMS, 73 fire, and 12 accidents. Total number of training hours for the month of June were 486. Budgeting preparation has started for meetings with the clerk treasurer for 2027's budget. As of June 30th, 49% of the year complete with 39% utilized.
All right, thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Parks Department, Mr. Wiseman.
Thank you. So we had moved the park finally Wednesday night. It was super hot. We actually had a good crowd. We did our Nerf battles also. We had over 50 kids come out, so that was really cool. Fall soccer, we were at 220 kids right now. That is, we added 22 kids for the fall season. We actually had another coach, so that soccer is growing massively. I'd like to give a shout out to Lake Stars Guild. They had their concert on Saturday. They had about 520 to 560 people here on site for Beatles night, so that's very awesome. And then the Robin's Nest Park is finally done. Potawatomi Park, with the forestry property. We are working on that right now as we speak. And at Sulansky Park, the electrical box, working with Lynn from the chamber. We have gotten with NIPSCO, and that is going to be removed soon finally.
And I want to thank you for making Potawatomi safe.
You're welcome. And Crew's doing a good job with this. Thank you.
And I did attend the concert with the Beatles, and it was very good, but
Yeah.
I'd like to have had a little bit of singing there instead of just instrumental.
You should have sang that.
Could have thrown tomatoes at me. I
Got up
can't
about-
carry a tune.
Should have got up there.
Yeah,
There's a mic right here.
Thank you,
I
Greg.
don't want to offend anybody.
Moving on to written communication, we have the building department report. In the report for the month of June, we have a total of 112 permits being issued. Additionally, 5 new home construction permits for June, bringing our new homes for the year up to 44, and all other permits up to 373. Okay, at this point, before I open the floor to public comment, I say it over and over again, we have the rules of meeting decorum posted outside. Anybody that's going to speak, please read the rules. I want to stress that each person addressing the town council, step up, give his name and address in an audible tone, voice for the records, and unless further time is granted by the town council, shall limit his address to 3 minutes. All remarks shall be addressed to the town council as a body and not to any member thereof. No person other than the council and the person having the floor shall be permitted to enter in any discussion, either directly or through a member of the council. Without permission of the presiding officer, no question shall be asked a council member except through the presiding officer. And I also want to say that we're all available via phone, email, speak to us after the meeting, speak to us before the meeting, to answer any questions. So I just want some order. I do not like using this gavel. So I will open up the floor for public comment.
Rob Hen, 13455 Parish, sorry. Late night. I want to thank you guys for, taking another look at that, permit requirement issue. My thinking, well, first of all, I didn't come up here earlier as a general contractor, came up here as a resident. So I've seen what no permit requirements or low permit requirements what they do. I've seen the results of that. Seen what people don't do, I should say. So I'm happy you're taking another look at that. I know, Greg, you had talked about, you ran on permit, or on giving the taxpayers relief, permit relief. I mean, there's ways to do that. People should still want to get a permit, just so, the building department can inspect it. If you want to give them relief on the cost of the permit.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
I know you're in the business.
Mm-hmm.
I come down here to get a permit to re-shingle,
Yes.
second layer shingles. What are they inspecting? What am I paying them to inspect? You want to tell me that?
Well,
It's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, technically, I mean, there's still some other items that have to be contended with, nailing patterns, how you're handling debris, things of that nature, and that directly affects your neighbors.
How are
Now-
they gonna, on a shingled roof, how are they gonna look at nailing patterns once the shingles are applied?
Well, I mean, that there's specific nailing patterns that have to be
Rob,
adhered
again,
to, Greg, is what I'm
I
saying.
get
Can they
it.
inspect it? Maybe not. Can they
Listen to
inspect
me.
something under the floor that you covered up? No.
I get your concerns about this, but I'm not Willie Lump Lump, and I'm not trying to do the things that I've been accused of. People have a fundamental right to maintain their property. I can't believe that we got away from giving them the fundamental right to
And I
maintain
agree
their
they do,
property.
Greg, and they do, you do. But the problem nowadays is people do not stay in homes like it was the 1950s. They don't stay in them for 30, 40 years.
I did.
You did, but we've had situations in town. I've been to a couple of plan commission meetings and BZA meetings where people were building homes, they say they're moving into them, and then they turn around and sell them right away.
Rob, it's not brain surgery.
No, it
I
isn't.
built a house in 1995. I'd never driven a nail before that.
And
I
so
bought
what's
a
the problem
book.
with- if you're doing
I
it
bought a
right, what's the
book,
problem with
I read
getting
the
a
book, I
permit?
learned how to read plans, and I built a house.
And Greg, I don't understand what the big problem with getting a permit. If it's the cost you don't like, then seek relief on the cost.
It's the hassle
The hassle.
of the aesthetics to maintain your property. I shouldn't have to ask permission to maintain my property, Rob.
No, and I agree with you to maintain, but when you're talking about $15,000, that becomes
That's
a
what
lot
I'm
of different
talking
things.
about, is maintaining my property. That's all I've ever been talking about.
And
I didn't make this stupid $500 threshold, but it's 40-something years old. It needs to be updated. I don't care if it's a number or what it is, as long as we give folks the fundamental right to maintain their property without begging somebody.
And I agree they should, and basically today, things cost 5 times what they did in the 80s, so $500 would be $2,500.
It cost 20 times what it did in the 80s.
But the number of 15 is a little high grade, that's all I was getting at. And I don't want to argue with, that's not what I came here
Well,
to do.
500's a little low, don't you think?
I agree it's low, but 15 is way too high.
Well, after 40 years, what should it be? What should be the figure for inflation?
I would say 5 to 10 at the most.
I figured 5% a year.
And I think we're going to remove...
And 10% a year since COVID.
And maybe that is the way to do it, Grace, remove the number, make a list, that would probably be the best way, because we've sat in enough plan commission meetings where I've been across, and you've told me many
Rob,
times, you have to be able to enforce it.
Nick's got a little calmer demeanor.
I don't want this to turn
But
into
we've
a
sat in
debate.
meetings and beat our heads against the wall and got the same thing we got tonight. And we're getting nowhere.
I think the list, Tim brought a good point with the list, so did a few other people, and some people in the audience even. The list is the way to go. The dollar amount is...
Well, 3 years in, now we have people willing to put together a list. I suppose that's a step in the right direction. But the what-ifs and the what-abouts, and we're gonna legislate for the exception and not the rule, it just becomes ridiculous after a while. And a $500 threshold that was never enforced before 2015 that's 40-some years old, it's embarrassing.
Well, and Greg, it should be changed.
It's embarrassing
It should be changed to a
that that's where we're
realistic
at.
number or a realistic list. And as for the hassle for permits, many towns around us, Cherville, Maryville, Munster, you're allowed to apply for your building permit and pay online. That takes out the hassle.
I think that's a great
That's a great
the right
idea.
direction, but none of them have a $500 threshold, Rob.
No, but they do have a dollar amount threshold, Craig.
Well, maybe they do. Maybe
But-
it's an updated dollar amount threshold, and maybe they've got things specified that doesn't need a permit.
And that would be great. I mean, I'm sure we could get a
But
copy
I'm
of
gonna
that.
tell you something. The quickest way to build a blighted community is to make it difficult for people to maintain their houses. And we've got houses on the unsafe building board. This town's gonna be in the demolition business because we won't let people maintain their property. It's ridiculous, and we're paying the bill to tear that house down that they can't maintain.
Again, relieve the fee if you want to make it easier, and make it easier to get the permit, but don't take away the whole requirement, because that will
No
cost
one, Rob, I resent you saying that, because no one ever said take away the whole requirement. No one ever said that, and that wasn't even floated.
I meant take away and make it a higher requirement.
Guys.
And I don't want to argue.
I don't want to debate, but
There's no reason for us to argue.
No, there isn't.
We're trying to make trying to make it easier for folks, and, there's economics involved with this, and, we're starting to see signs in our community and our nation as a whole where people are having a tough time. And there's people in these brand-new subdivisions that I'm hearing are coming in for aid. And, it's not just the one-time permit fee, that's the smallest part of it. The largest part is being reassessed over a maintenance item and having to pay those taxes for eternity.
For nothing.
And so I don't
For
want to
doing
get into
nothing except maintaining your property.
I don't want this to turn into a debate, Greg. I think I understand Mr. Henn's point.
And you know what, I apologize to everybody, I'm a little frustrated on the issue, and I've cited the reasons why I'm frustrated. It's taken too long, there's been too much what if, what about, this is simple stuff, folks.
Well, it just needs to be enforceable, that's all. And it's difficult to
I'm
enforce a
all
dollar
about
number.
enforceable.
There's no way the code enforcement officer could drive by and say, does that look like 15 or does that look like 18? But they can see, oh, that's siding, oh my gosh, they tore the whole front of the building off. We better check that out. That they can see, that's enforceable. A list is enforceable. And I thank you guys, I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to get anybody's blood pressure up and my own.
We've been having these discussions when we're not going down rabbit holes for a year.
Right.
Which kind of explains my frustration. I'm like you, like Tim, like Nick, like Rich, I'm a get things done kind of guy.
Right.
Not play around and debate and play word games and all this business. something that makes sense, get it done, and live with it.
I agree. Thanks.
All right, thanks,
Good night, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Rob.
Good evening, Terry Broaders, 631 North State Street, representing my property here in Cedar Lake at 14513 Morris. I'd like to open up by saying, Greg, I understand your frustration. I'm certainly not coming up here to create more of an argument. I do have a couple things I think we need to touch upon as you guys are trying to create something new. And Lord knows it needs to be adjusted, right? Everybody in the room agrees. But as I drive up and down Lakeshore Drive right here on the east side of the lake, I can go past 2 or 3 homes with multicolored shingles on the roofs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, certainly they didn't pull a permit, and certainly even if with the rules in place, they didn't pull the permit and put 3 different color shingles on the roof. And I've also seen multiple color sidings. And,
I haven't seen multiple colors.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
I mean,
I've seen.
they've done that in new subdivisions by design.
But, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some of the back corners, Greg. But let's not argue about what is. Let's talk about how to fix the problem and fix it correctly where everybody can win.
And that's what we're trying to do.
But Greg, if you take out the permit section, you can't regulate the 2 colors on the roof. You can't make sure it's got 1 color based on
Terry,
the permit pull, right?
You understand.
I do understand exactly what you're saying.
These things that I'm citing are not in town code.
Yes, but Greg,
Right now.
I can tell you right now, doing siding on a house with house wrap and flashing around windows and all this stuff is in U.S. code. That's in the national code.
It's in code for new construction.
But don't you
Not
want
for
our
existing- Terry,
houses to be upgraded
Terry,
with code?
I want to be clear here. I want to be clear. That's code for new construction. That's not code for a remodel.
Greg, in
You
every
can't-
other civilized
listen,
community, it is.
Terry, that's part of my problem. You can't force somebody in this community to pull the windows out of the house when they just want to put siding on it to flash it. That's a new construction code. And it's ridiculous.
Greg, they don't have to flash unless they replace the
Okay, we're
window.
getting
But if
into
you're
the weeds
replacing
with-
a siding,
guys,
you do have to use
Terry.
your surface flashing.
Terry, can we get the rest of your comments, please?
And I will finish quickly,
Right.
Nick, but going back to the quality of work, not done right by homeowners and do-it-yourselfers, and let's say they do sell it down the road, and Rich sits in that same seat on unsafe, and 90% of what you said is true. Our unsafe buildings are based on bad work. And it wasn't based on bad work over the course of time, it was based on bad work and then abandoned.
Most of
So
our
what we're
unsafe
taking
buildings,
down,
Terry,
Greg, are not
based-
just houses
they're
that need,
haven't been
that are
maintained.
slighted by visuals. These houses were abandoned. I've watched every house that went down. They're not just because the siding's down these are abandoned homes that were left behind a long time
And Tim
ago.
will say
So it's a
himself,
different
he's torn down
comparison.
houses that shouldn't have been torn
And
down.
what I'm trying to get to, and I think everybody in this town can agree with that, you don't want to live next door to a guy with 2 different color shingles on his house. I know you don't, Greg, you don't want to live next
Terry,
door to
no
that,
one's
but how are you
here.
going to regulate it if they don't have to pull a permit, sir?
Well, Terry, who's regulating it now? You just said we got shingles, we got
You
houses
just
with...
brought up a great point,
Who's regulating
Greg.
that now?
You just brought up a great point. I would like to know, who is supposed to regulate that? Why don't you say out loud, who is
There's
supposed to
no-
regulate
Terry.
who goes and checks the
Okay,
There's
permit?
no
Guys.
town code for
Please.
that.
All right, this is not a debate, okay? It's not a debate, it's comment.
I thank you for your time, Mr. President. I do like to, in closing, I would like to say, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's make sure our construction going forward is quality, of good sense, and good common sense, I think was the word used commonly tonight. I think we really want to make sure we don't give up what we already have. I understand people painting, I understand that, but when you start pulling siding off the walls and you're not replacing rotted wood, now you have mold growing on the inside of the house, you don't do the roof properly and you're not flashing the eaves properly, you have mold growing in the baby's bedroom. What I'm saying to you right now is what we're talking about is giving up on what has been done everywhere for the last 25 years. Keeping safe structures. It all comes down to mold when you talk about seal-proofing your home, Greg. I really want you to understand, a roof is seal-proofing, siding is seal-proofing, Tyvek, flashings, that's all seal-proofing. Done wrong, you have mold. Do I want anybody buying a house with mold down the road because we're not doing
Does
our
that house have
job?
mold in it now, Terry?
Okay.
Come on, Greg, all around town,
Guys,
there's mold everywhere.
I'm not gonna put up
I
with
can
this.
take you to 2 of them that can't
Terry,
sell because of the mold.
Thank you, Terry.
I'm sorry.
Who's-
Mr. President, thank you.
Carol's been trying, so please
Yeah.
let Carol go now.
Sure.
Carol Kerr, 9900 West 129th Place. I live in Montessori Woods. And what I want to say is, this was my original idea, but a former town president said one time, we live in kind of a different town. If you live on the lake, you could own $1 million plus home, and there could be a shack right next to it. Go down Lakeshore Drive, we have a perfect example of that. When you hire someone like Mr. Henn, he's registered, isn't he? Am I wrong? Like, for example, I live in a corner house and kind of close to the guy next door. I have a half lot. When you turn in the subdivision, you look right in my patio. Through an act of Congress, finally, with much debate, the homeowners association said I could put 2 privacy fences. I didn't know who to call. Someone could recommend somebody. I don't know if he's any good. So when I called the man, he said I have to get a permit. Good clue. He's registered. He's protecting me whether I'm rich or poor. And unfortunately, sometimes when people are poor, or they're physically not able maybe to take care of their house. This happened to my dad. So my dad every day, unbeknownst to me, he hired some shyster guy from Chicago to put new windows in his kitchen. He gave the guy a lot of money. The guy never came back. So this protects you besides that, because you know he's going to do good work. Because isn't he, when he gets a permit, Mr. Kubiak, is he registered? That's what I was told. Is there a list of contractors we use?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so you're kind of you're helping me out, whether I'm rich or poor. And how do you inspect something if you don't know what I'm doing? Maybe I want to put a heater in my garage, happened down the street from my block. Person was connected to someone. He put a thing in there, almost gassed himself, and the guy next door. No one's coming to inspect it. He's going to have someone inspect it. He's going to be registered what he did.
I don't know how maintenance
So when
items
I
are
say we're
handled.
not supposed to address a specific person, but Greg Parker, isn't that self-serving for you? How many
Okay,
homes do you own that you can fix on your own and you don't have to get a permit?
Carol, I take care of 8 buildings in Lake and Porter County. I think I'm pretty well
You know what?
qualified. This is what I do for a living.
Yeah, but you own Reynolds, don't you? And you
So
own
what?
a permit.
It's a free country
And
still.
it saves you some money, isn't it?
Okay.
You shouldn't even be able to.
We're not gonna debate this, Miss Kerr, you had everything. All I'm gonna say in closing to your comment is nothing will prevent somebody like you that wants protection from the government, from getting protection from the government or a contractor. You still have the freedom to do that.
Mr.
And-
Riccovo,
I don't wanna turn this in.
Mr. President, I just have one thing to say. I'm on the Plan Commission. I've been on the Plan Commission probably 15, 16 years. I've had multiple residents from Rose Garden Estates, brand-new houses, come in here and complain about the quality of work on a brand-new house that has been inspected. So, I mean, I find this to be incredible that you folks think that you're protected somehow because you've got a licensed, registered contractor, and he's got your best interest at heart, 100% of the time. Because there's a lot of people over there, based on what's happened in this room, that have had houses built by contractors, and have had it been inspected by our building department, that are very unhappy with what they have.
Okay.
I've sat through it.
Point taken. Anyone else for public comment?
Cheryl Reeves, 12014 McCook Street, Cedar Lake. As a owner of rental properties, I like the idea that you're going this route, although I don't agree with putting a dollar amount in there, simply because I think it should say that maintenance and repair that doesn't conflict with either the construction codes or ordinances or the unsafe building codes and ordinances. And there shouldn't be a dollar amount in there, because then you're going to get people to buy inferior, rejected, secondhand materials, which is going to make it look shoddy or whatever you want to call it anyway. So I think the dollar amount forces them to use poor grade materials. So, and you want them to look good. So I think it should be something that's in line with the construction codes and laws and also with the unsafe building. So, and do it yourself.
Makes sense.
Thank you, ma'am.
You've been very patient.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I'm Terry Healy. I live at 9720B West 130th Avenue. I've lived in Cedar Lake for 10 years. I started a non-for-profit that I run out of the Hanover Trustee's office that serves disabled or homeless veterans every Monday from noon to 3, if anyone knows someone interested. I love this town. I am proud to be a resident of Cedar Lake, and I want to continue to be so. The comments that I want to bring forward are about Summerfest and a band that was hired with a gentleman that runs that band that had convictions that he had expunged against minors. He has a current case pending for sexual assault. The documentation and all the information hit my radar last year, and I was mortified as somebody who lives here and felt assured that there was no way that the Committee for Summerfest was aware of what was going on. When I brought it forward, the first volunteer called that man and gave him my name and my number, and he called me. I took it another step forward back to Summerfest Committee and was very vocally shut down. Then I took it to our town manager at the time. He looked through all the documentation, he took it over to the chief of police. Everything was verified as accurate, and he did give me an apology on behalf of the Summerfest Committee. I'm not here to talk about that man's innocence or guilt. That's not in my pay grade. That's for courts to decide. What I'm concerned about is my community. In addition to the non-for-profit where I serve our residents and homeless vets, I've been selling real estate for 20 years. So I am hyper-vigilant to what something can do to the property values and the reputation of the community. That man was rehired again this year. I tried communicating with Mr. Eldridge, but didn't realize that he was no longer employed by us or part of our organization. So that went away. But what I did notice was there was an acceleration on social media about this whole conversation on various Facebook pages. And at last count, there were over 300 comments, and a lot of them disparaging about our community. A lot of residents saying that they would not attend, nor would they bring their children. And I brought you something because I don't know how many of you are aware of what's actually being shown and fed. This was a meme that was circulating on Facebook about our Summerfest. And I'm telling you, this is heartbreaking to me. It shouldn't have to be this way.
Could you also show it to our attorney?
It was also brought to my attention in the group that I serve. A lot of ladies attend our social, there's like a senior social group that operates out of Monastery, that somebody from Summerfest came forward, and the start of the presentation was a comment that if you're aware of what's circulating on Facebook, just know that we've investigated it, and a lot of it is AI. Well, I don't know if that's true or that's not. But I can tell you that if we have this kind of conversation that's floating on social media this year, there should have been a statement made. There should be some sort of something going out there to say that we are on top of it, that we are looking at it. My concern is that there is no oversight for the committee, and there's no checks and balances. And some of what was being organized, and I don't believe it actually came to pass, was there are two different motorcycle clubs that their commitment is for children, and there was conversations about them organizing and showing up at our Summerfest in front of our children, in front of our parents, in front of our people. This is going to continue to accelerate. I guarantee it. It didn't go away. It's not going away. And now people in our neighboring communities are talking about what we've done yet a second time. I'm here to just tell you how it feels to be a resident, the concern I have, not just for my property value, but for the people the kids that are attending my schools, the people that are rubbing elbows with Mr. X. This is my community. And I don't know if I'm in the right place, but I don't have a town manager to go to again who promised me it wouldn't happen again.
Well, can I please just interject? So you know that the town of Cedar Lake does not run Summerfest. Only one member of the council is on the Summerfest committee.
Right.
If I had the power to, I would have pulled that band. Don't know why the band didn't pull itself. I'm so sorry that happened to you, that your name and information was given out. That would really have frightened me if it happened to me. And you know, I don't want to make it a cop-out, but the town of Cedar Lake, we provide security and we provide fire department for the fireworks, but other than that, it's not affiliated with the town.
Where do we go? Where's the checks and balances
Well,
for
I
this?
think that, you know, whether this stuff's true or not, I don't think there was anything, Julie, we talked about, anything in the contract that would allow us to intervene or do anything. But that's something we ought to look at for next year if a case like that comes about.
Just to say, there are 2 other communities in Illinois that they were approached with the same information, and they chose to remove him from the stage and replace him. One of which was Fox Point in Lansing. They got all the information, and their comment was, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Okay.
And they removed him. I'm just telling you.
We couldn't legally do that if we wanted to per the agreement we had, but something we have to look at for next year.
But we definitely need to look at it
Would
for
somebody
the
please?
contract.
Yeah.
Have Mr. Austin review the
Yeah.
contract.
We will, it will be a priority.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you all
welcome.
very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? Anybody online, Ms. Sandberg?
No hands raised.
All right, public comment is now closed. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, August 4th, 2026, to follow redevelopment commission meeting at 6:30 PM. Everybody have a good night. This meeting is adjourned at 9:37 PM.